Hello, hello, hello. Happy Thursday, everybody. Chico over here on the side for a minute. Huh? What do you say, Chico? Huh? What do you say? Tell everybody to hit the like button? Huh? You tell everybody to hit the like button? Huh? Oh. Hold on. This is from Aunt Karen. Huh? Okay, that was his new toy from Aunt Karen. So Tim first, and Lucy beat Kay out tonight. I don't know where's Kay. I just saw it for her. So that speech wasn't worth Lucy. It wasn't very important. He only stayed up for about 18 minutes, so we didn't miss nothing. So there was a plane crash just a few hours ago. A former NASCAR driver, retired. His whole family was in on there. So I'll play that first thing. Carol. Billy Bean hasn't been coming out with anything. I have a lot of energy today. I rested up today. Did a lot of stuff yesterday. Samantha, Terry. All the lurkers. Greg, Dave. Chris, Paul. So So I'll probably take Christmas off. So it sounds like I'm going to my sister's on Christmas Day. So I'll probably take Christmas off, and I'll be, be on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and then I'll be on Friday. Kimberly, are you out there? Dragonfly. I found Giggs' number and been trying to reach her. Hopefully she'll respond to me. Trying all week. Chico, you have enough. Chico. Chat hasn't moved yet. Is chat okay? Come on. Come on. Get up there. Come on. No, I'm going on. You know what time it is. Come on. Come on. So I'm going to go ahead and get started and play that plane crash video. The big update. Will you? Come on. Get up there.
A plane crash with multiple fatalities. It looks like possibly 5 dead here, but the plane belongs to Greg Biffle. Greg Biffle, NASCAR driver. Holy smokes, folks. Oh boy, oh boy. We have a plane crash, a Cessna 550 citation that has crashed while landing at Statesville Regional Airport in North Carolina. The reports are multiple fatalities here. This is a photo of the crash scene. Limited information out at this time, but here's what's very disturbing about it. And all plane crashes are bad, but this appears to belong, based off the tail number, it appears the plane belongs to Greg Biffle, who is a NASCAR driver. Reports are now indicating that the private plane, which crashed this morning at Statesville Regional Airport in North Carolina, was a 1981 Cessna citation with the tail number N257BW, owned by NASCAR driver Greg Biffle. Oh boy. Yeah, and there's some NASCAR people out there already like saying prayers and prayers. It does not look good. at Statesville Airport, their regional airport, when it crashed and went into a fireball here. They are reporting multiple fatalities. And again, unconfirmed reports that it belonged to Greg Biffle, but people are coming out saying Greg Biffle's plane. They're also saying that reports are there was engine problems after takeoff from the airport, and they tried to circle around and return back, but crashed just short of the runway. Huge fireball and plume of smoke
working, you guys?
was seen in the neighboring Lakewood Golf Course. Oh, man, this is Greg Biffle's plane, folks. Greg Biffle. Was he on the plane? We're trying to get some information. We also have some news clips here that are starting to trickle out. We're trying to find a live feed or something. This is bad. This is bad. They're saying at least 5 dead. Mass casualty situation.
What appears to be a plane crash in North Carolina. So if we can go ahead and take that live in the moment as we look for more information. Right now, this is about as much as we have. But this plane crash is in Statesville, North Carolina. So I'm going to go ahead and look up. Literally, this popped up in the moment, not finding a whole lot of information. But you can see their crews on the scene of this particular crash. I'm looking at it with you as that smoke is coming from that structure at the moment. Fire crews there are looking to extinguish this as well. We don't know exactly who or how many people were on this crash or any extent of injuries at this particular time. But let's see if we can find some reports and then also some information put out by officials in that area. I'm going to go ahead and start looking for any intel that we can get out of Statesville, including, if we can do this, pulling up a map exactly of where Statesville is in North Carolina, so that people have an understanding of where that is. As you see the crews there, emergency crews on the scene in the moment. Let me see something.
This is bad, folks. This is bad. It's Greg Biffle's plane. He's an
I do have a bit of information that's coming in from our ABC affiliate there in the area, WSOC, and these crews are apparently on the scene of this crash at the Statesville Regional Airport. That is where this is currently. There has not been any additional information that has been made available thus far, but that is new as they just panned out so you can see it for yourself. This crash is there at the Statesville Regional Airport. You're seeing, let me see if I can read any of these others. You're seeing more crews, a state trooper, so state police that are there on the scene at the moment. They are just arriving there after those fire crews. You see EMS official there in that black truck. Fire crews there is our camera crew there on the scene. Zooms in and you can see the remnants of that plane that has crashed there. I don't know if that's on the runway or not far off of a runway, but clearly it did not either make it far from the airport or it was coming into the airport. That information we don't quite know just yet, but we're going to keep this on for right now and try to look up some more information in real time. And as I get that, I will be sharing that. Again, if you're just now joining us on air on this stream, this is the scene of a plane crash in Statesville, North Carolina. And let's see here so I can pull it up for people. Yeah, I am. It is north of Charlotte, for those who are not familiar with its location.
So the plane might belong here to Greg Biffle. That's the reports. That's the reports. The reports are coming out.
Do you need $300, $500,
What do
or
you guys
even
think?
$1,000 fast?
And don't forget, Greg Biffle, when there was the hurricane, the hurricane came through the Carolinas. He was one of the people out there going in helicopters, giving food and supplies to people, trapped in the communities outside of Asheville, all in that area, North Carolina. Crazy. Helene.
All right, so I have it pulled up there at the moment, and I'm monitoring information. Let's see if we can get something.
Statesville Regional
Looking
Airport.
at the area at the moment, you can kind of see there. It appears to be, well, we have the map there. Just wanted to show you where Statesville is here at the moment. It looks like the feed just came down too, but it's clearly north of Charlotte in that vicinity there. You can kind of see at the moment that it looked like beyond the smoke that there was a little bit of fog in the area. It's unclear though if that would have played a part in the accident or that crash. Again, we're still going to be looking for information. There were crews there on the scene.
Oh, very sad. Another couple with kids.
Democrats and interest group lost the money.
Now comes the House
minute.
GOP Speaker with a defense on their decisions. 6 News Capitol correspondent Tim Skubic has the latest.
Oh my, the two sides are really having a dandy of a back and forth over that $640 million plus tax dollars that were cut by the Republicans last week because part of the state dollars were never spent by the groups that got the money. One of those programs was the state aid to the RX Kids program for kids in Flint, impacted by the Flint water crisis 10 years ago. The Whitmer administration trotted out this list of 19 projects in the Lansing area that took a hit, including $2.5 million for a Lansing school infrastructure project and $1 million going to the Association of County Clerks. Republican Speaker Matt Hall contends in many cases the groups are asking for more money than they actually need. Here's his example.
They need 1 million. So they ask for 3 million, because they may not, because they figure, well, maybe we'll get the 1 million. Then the Democrat trifecta actually gave them the 3 million and they don't know what to do with it. And so they don't spend it at the end of the fiscal year.
The speaker's friendly working relationship with the governor may take a hit here as he accuses her of having a huge slush fund.
I mean, there's a $10 billion pot sitting there in government of their slush fund. And some of that is not allocated to any program.
The executive office has not responded as of yet. And he accuses the Whitmer administration of not providing answers to Republicans on why this money was never spent, which the Republicans then took away.
When they won't provide answers, and the law requires us to approve or disapprove in 30 days, where we don't have answers, we disapprove, and then we force a conversation to get the answers because we have to be good stewards of taxpayer money.
What the Democrats argue is Republicans are cutting programs that they just don't like, and people are being hurt in the process. And one of the charges is Republicans did not give these groups a heads up that the cuts were coming. The speaker says, not my job.
I don't think that our caucus has a responsibility to reach out to these groups.
Suffice it to say, this running battle back and forth is not about to go away soon. Here for you in Lansing, Tim Skubic, 6 News.
So that was out of Michigan. Now I got Chicago.
Just know we will be working hard to unseat all of you. It's time to clean house, and our volunteer list is growing every day. The budget is not for the working class and not for small businesses to grow. Only more money, tax increment financing, TIF, sent to CPS to continue harming our children. That's why we must come for the disgrace 50 and the pitiful 20. It's an uncomfortable truth. Now, Brandon, you have really embarrassed the city. You really do not know what you're doing. You don't care, and you're arrogant, and you act like you a baddie. You act like we owe you to tell Mayor Stacey Davis Davis, whatever her name is, to tell you to step down and get somebody else in here to save our city. You can't tax any corporations because we don't have any corporations. Y'all killed them through COVID. Okay, so you really owe them something. If you want to tax corporations, let's talk about these real estate corporations. Wells Fargo should be paying out the A for Black people. If you want to talk about corporations, you're not laying off anybody, but you're going to raise them raises that nobody should get no raise. Nobody should get a raise. That's crazy. No boat yacht tax. No tax, period. The migrant crisis, that's what you needed to talk about. That $2.2 billion that you and the Progressive Hispanic KKK caucus stole.
Yeah.
Let's talk about the COVID-19 surplus money. Let's talk about that epidemiology money. Let's talk about that line item for that $220 million in this 2026 budget that you put in 2024 for new arrivals. When I'm homeless, because you won't settle my case, because you arrogant, because you a baddie. You a Tony Preckwinkle. Why Tony Preckwinkle just spent $1 million on a new home? Yeah. While y'all property taxes going up through the roof. Trump, the beautiful African ladies of America in Chicago, we need your help. We need your help, and we need you to bring the feds. Federal oversight. Yeah. We need federal oversight because they're stealing Black people's property.
And you know that.
And he's doing it with the Lions Den. Joshua Davis, Stephen Davis.
Hey.
Subaru and our retailers are the
out of Minnesota or Michigan and Chicago. Now I got a 10-minute one with Benny, I believe.
Trump, and you ain't gonna come.
I made my financial disclosures disappear. Trump, I'm going through all your stuff. You better come out and pound me.
What's up, guys? Benny. The hunters have become the hunted, and Fani Willis is in the hot seat today in the Georgia Senate as they do a full-scale investigation into her persecution illegally of President Trump, whose only crime was objecting to election results, which is his right under the First Amendment and other amendments. Nonetheless, Fani Willis, never in doubt, so sure of her high IQ, had this to say.
You run a tight ship over there. You're proud of your work. I would assume that you would have
I'm the best DA in the Southeast. Why wouldn't I be proud of my work?
Okay. Such shocking confidence for Fani Willis, who is potentially facing her own criminal charges for the way that she mismanaged funds, money, hiring her boyfriend, and the prosecution that's been completely and totally thrown out after she was stripped from the case. Fulton County DA Fani Willis set to face a Georgia Senate committee over Trump prosecution. More than a year of legal arguments, Fulton County District Attorney Fani Willis will appear before as a special guest in the Senate committee explaining why she prosecuted President Trump. Lawmakers created the special committee on investigations in order to look into the allegations of various forms of misconduct against Fani Willis, and she doesn't really like being the one having to answer the questions. She resisted attempts to compel her to testify and did not show up last year when subpoenaed. Her attorney argued that in 2024 lacked constitutional authority. The legal battle over the previous judge's decision to subpoena still in the court systems. Nonetheless, Fani Willis showed up today. Here she is walking into the courthouse. Man, it is not disappointing. Fani Willis loses her damn mind when presented with documents showing how much money her office paid lover Nathan Wade during the witch hunt against President Trump. Why don't you investigate how many times I was called the N-word, she says, in the single most predictable defense
those documents. So you're asking me to look at documents that I haven't for the first time. What I can tell you is that I
I'll give you time to
allowed
review the
Mr. Wade to bill 160 hours a week, and then Mr. Wade would be the first one in the office making sure that my staff arrived. He corrected their behavior. They thought that 8:30 meant 8:30. He taught them that 8:30 means 7:45. He got there before them. He left after him. He taught them how to do this case, and he was a leader to that team and a public servant. And for that, him like me has been threatened thousands of times. You want something to investigate as a legislature? Investigate how many times they've called me the N-word. Why don't you investigate that? Why don't you investigate them writing on my house? Why don't you investigate the fact that my house has been swatted? If you want something to do with your time that makes sense, and you can use all this in your campaign ad, you attacked Fani Willis. What have you done, sir? Nothing.
So I'm going to refer you to the screen. I know you said you don't approve.
I don't look at this. I've never seen
bills.
it. So I can't talk to you about documents I don't approve and don't review. Can't talk to you about it.
Who does approve the documents in your office when invoices come in?
I thought we'd been through this.
I don't believe you said who reviews the invoices and approves the invoices in your
First of all, I have no firsthand knowledge of it.
You have no
You
firsthand
want me
knowledge.
to testify about something I don't have any firsthand knowledge of?
I'm asking.
Oh, man. They're not studying their best, as Donald Trump would say, but never look this defensive. Obviously, just take these kind of things with a laugh or be cool under pressure. When you act like this, when your blood pressure's up and you're screaming and raging and moving around, like this is exactly where they want you. This proves, obviously, that you have something to hide. You know, something like in ghetto culture where the loudest person or the most erratic person or the most screechy person wins. That's not the real world. This is the real world. And what this looks like when you are under sworn oath is you're guilty. Looks like you have something to hide. She's saying that Nathan Wade was such a impeccable prosecutor, yet couldn't answer one time when he was asked, have you ever been in a cabin in the woods with Fani Willis? He was asked this question point blank. It's made for hilarious memes that Donald Trump has shared before. My favorite meme probably of all of 2024.
Go to
right
a
here.
cabin with Miss Willis.
Not sure if you saw the news, but Fox News is claiming President Trump is declining in the polls. President Trump responded.
Ever.
Ever.
All this time we've been together, thought a thing would last forever. Through thick and thin, good or bad, all I was happy, never
This is,
sad.
by the way, the amount of time
It's all gone
we answer the question.
getting worse by the hour. Let's break up.
No.
You've never gone to a cabin with us.
No.
He was so good. He was worth the money. Yeah, Donald Trump explaining exactly what kind of money he was worth, talking about how Fani Willis, ladies and gentlemen, used Nathan Wade for something. He wasn't good at law, but he was good at something. One of my favorite Donald Trump roasts. Here we go.
I was indicted by Fannie in Georgia. Fannie. How did that work out? And her lover, Nathan Wade. And they hired him for almost $1 million because of his great experience. Of course, he didn't have any experience. He had experience in something else. You know that. A lot of experience.
Obviously, all of the roasting and humiliation that Fani has gone through has broken her. She went berserk again in the courthouse about a prosecution of Donald Trump, losing it. That is a dumbass question.
So it's your testimony today that you and Mr. Wade did not have any conversations prior to you taking office relative to an investigation into the 2020 election.
Don't answer that. That is a deliberative privilege of what goes on in a district attorney's mind in the process of their.
She wasn't district attorney.
She was.
Prior to being sworn in, she was district attorney?
No, she was not. But you asked.
Until I'll return to my question. Prior to you being sworn in as district attorney, is it your testimony today that you did not have any conversation with Mr. Wade about investigating the 2020 election?
Do you want to answer?
It's a dumbass question.
I know it is, but go ahead and tell him because it occurred after.
Dumbass question.
But go
I didn't know that he was going to commit a crime prior to me taking office. Like, factually, it's impossible.
Okay. Thank you.
So nothing but the pinnacle of justice and professionalism here. Oh, she is mad as hell, squirming in her seat, snapping her head back and forth, scratching the water bottle. Now she is yelling at the Georgia State Senate. Never a great look. Again, you got to have composure in these moments. You got to be chill. And hot damn, Fani Willis, not acting chill.
I also had some committee members where I got some advice on things that needed to be priorities for the office as I took office. So I got very esteemed members of the Fulton County and the greater community to kind of advise me. I believe in diversity, so it was a diverse group. If you do studies on diversity, although some of you are against it, you will realize that the companies that do the best employ diversity. And so I employed diversity in that committee, and I've employed diversity in my staff because I represent a diverse community.
Who was a part of that committee?
I don't remember all the names, and I'm not going to guess at it.
What names do you remember?
Oh, my goodness. Lee Dupree's husband, William Dupree, was on that committee. There was another anchor, and I'm embarrassed to say that was an African-American female. I'm not sure. I want to say Mayor
She's so
Franklin
smart.
may have been on the committee, but I can't remember exactly.
Diversity hires, they're
There were
so
about
smart.
15 to 20 people. That's been some time ago now.
She's so smart. She's so intelligent. After a year of delays at Fulton County, testifying, finally, Fani Willis. Arrogant, full of herself, Fani Willis currently melting down in the Georgia Senate hearing. More meltdowns than jail time. People saying she's gone berserk, grilling, whatever goes around comes around. Nathan Wade, professional services. We know what the professional services are. Fat Fani Willis's President Trump witch hunt has imploded, and now she's playing the race card. And just a reminder, she doesn't like it when you call her Fanny. She doesn't like it. Watching the Senate hearing, Fani Willis, she might be the most insufferable person in all of Georgia. Yeah, look at this. She is not having a great time. You love to see it. What goes around comes around. Ladies and gentlemen, karma is a biatch. It's your boy Benny. Like, sure.
Okay, first one from Benny. This is part 2.
Elections, any election, to enforce federal voting laws and protect the integrity of the process. They've done it before. They're going to do it again if needed. Now, the state may run the vote, but the feds ensure that it's fair. And judging by Newsom's reaction, it looks like someone's afraid of what they'll find, because here's how corruption under his watch is getting exposed. Take a look at this from the San Joaquin County Sheriff's Department. Watch this. A little problematic. That's one way to put it. The sheriff said they also found people voting in counties they didn't even live in. Plus 93 voters listed with a birth date of 1850. 232 registered to local prisons. 125 were tied to a nonprofit, 300 with no first names, and 110 double voters with the same name, birth date, and address, but different registration numbers. And remember, this is just one county in California. So when voter registration is run on the honor system, it's no wonder Gavin Newsom keeps flooding the state with illegal immigrants. He's padding the rolls, and he's proud of it. 100% of that sounds like part of the plan, because we all know which box that 27% is checking on election day. Now, even Arnold Schwarzenegger, a man who actually ended gerrymandering during his term, is calling out how rigged this game has become. Watch Jake Tapper try to blame Republicans for it, and Arnold absolutely terminates that narrative. Democrats are in full meltdown mode because they've already gerrymandered every inch of the map. Republicans, they finally decided to push back, and suddenly, now it's a threat to democracy. Well, guess what? Even Princeton University, of all places, gave California's congressional map an F grade, calling it one of the worst gerrymanders in 50 years. Watch this. Democrats could hold 43 seats to Republicans 9 and still claim they're the ones underrepresented. That's like a kid hoarding all the Halloween candy and crying that someone else got an extra Snickers. But Gavin's political disasters, they don't stop at election maps. Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy, he just yanked $40 million from California for refusing to enforce English language requirements for truck drivers after an illegal immigrant with a California license killed 3 people in Florida. You probably remember this story. That driver failed his test 10 times, including the English portion, but still got his license. Only in Gavin's California can you fail every test and still get a participation trophy and a California driver's license. Well, Duffy, he's now vowing to punish Gavin Newsom even further after another illegal with a California driver's license just killed 3 more people on a California freeway. Because the only way you're going to get to these politicians is to wake them up and cut them off from their access to the government's credit card. Because right now, they're just spending it like it's monopoly money. And while California is collapsing under Gavin Newsom's leadership, he's gearing up for a 2028 presidential run because apparently wrecking one state, that just wasn't enough. Gavin wouldn't lie, right? Unless there's a camera, a crowd, or a campaign check. I mean, this is the same guy who told you it wasn't safe to eat out. Here's the...
Okay, I'll get part 1 here.
And the panic? Oh, it's showing. The governor's practically in meltdown mode, whining to a crowd that President Trump's DOJ is going to step in to monitor next week's California election. Imagine that. The proof of fraud, it is piling up, and we're going to show it all to you. Plus, wait until you see the clip where Gavin brags about California having the largest population of foreign-born residents. It's not a coincidence. It's part of the plan. And today, we're going to connect the dots. Then later in the show, AOC gives a speech that sounds like a one-way ticket straight to the loony bin. And the more she talks, the worse it gets. In fact, this is one of the most comical clips I've seen from her in a while. Plus, a House Democrat gets grilled on CNBC and absolutely humiliated over his flip-flop on the government shutdown. Make sure you like this video, subscribe if you're new here, and welcome to the show. Glad to have you all join me today. Prop 50 is on the ballot in California, a measure that would let Gavin Newsom gerrymander the state even further. Now, conservatives are already silenced here. In 2024, President Trump got just over 38% of the vote, yet Democrats hold 43 of the 52 House seats. That means only 9 Republicans represent nearly 40% of California voters. If Prop 50 passes, Democrats could grab 5 more seats, leaving Republicans with just 5 out of 52. Democrats love to cry about democracy, but they've been playing musical chairs for years while telling Republicans, go stand in the corner. Well, not anymore. The right is pulling up its own chair, and they are getting in the game. Now, Gavin's been sweating bullets ever since President Trump said that he might send the National Guard to help secure the election sites. And now the Trump administration is taking it one step further. The DOJ says it will monitor polling places to make sure California's election is free and fair. Here's the start of Newsom's downward spiral. Starting to sound a little nervous there, Governor? Maybe that's because your so-called clean elections are under the microscope, and for good reason. I mean, the corruption under your watch has been obvious to anyone with any bit of common sense. We're going to dig into that in just a second. But first, let's see how President Trump responded. And let's just say the trolling was master level. Trump wrote on Truth Social, quote, "What's worse, the NBA players cheating at cards and probably much else, or the Democrats cheating on elections? We now know everything. I hope the DOJ pursues this with as much gusto as befitting the biggest scandal in American history. If not, it will happen again, including the upcoming midterms. No mail-in or early voting. Yes to voter ID. Watch how totally dishonest the California prop vote is. Millions of ballots being shipped. Get smart, Republicans, before it's too late." Now, Gavin's attempt at firing back reads like this, quote, "Ramblings of an old man that knows he's going to lose." Well, that's kind of ironic because Gavin went on Stephen Colbert's show, and I can't show it to you, unfortunately, because of copyright issues, but I'm going to read to you exactly what he said. I'm going to try and channel my inner Gavin Newsom because the hypocrisy here is off the charts. He said, quote, "I fear that we will not have an election. Gavin Newsom's corruption is unraveling faster than he goes through."
Okay, the first 2 of her so far. I got a 4-minute one.
Using utilizing to hopefully guide us in the right direction in order to identify the individual that we're looking for.
Any weapons, DNA evidence?
This actual physical evidence, there's DNA evidence, there's a lot of evidence that we're collecting to ensure that we can find the answer.
Okay, retired NYPD inspector and Fox News contributor Paul Morrow is live on the scene in Providence. How big of a deal is this, Paul?
Well, it's starting to feel like things are moving, Sandra. There's a lot of buzz up here. There's a lot of rumors flying around. Everybody is working sources, but I can tell you, this is the first day where it does feel like they are really making progress. There'll be a 4 o'clock press conference, so we're going to learn more there. But I can tell you that the thing I learned late last night is that they found live rounds at the scene. That is to say, bullets that were ejected from the gun that were not fired, probably due to a misfire or some sort of fumbling at the scene with the gun. That matters because live rounds that have DNA on them won't have been exploded. They won't have detonated, so to speak. So they're going to be in very good shape, very good chance to get DNA off of that. They continue to look the video. They're continuing to canvass in the neighborhood. Some witnesses might have come forward. We all know about that second person that they were looking for who seemed like he might have been known to the perpetrator because the perpetrator ran away. Maybe they got that second person. It looks like things are moving, and we're just going to have to see what comes forward. They may have information they can give us, but that does not mean that the person's in custody.
Okay, so let me play out the words of the Rhode Island Attorney General asking why footage on the cameras, Paul, has not been released. This is at the presser yesterday. Listen.
Well, because here's why. Because it doesn't tell us anything about who committed this crime yet. If we get a better image of who committed this crime, you'll have it. There is no effort to preclude the public, online investigators in the press, from getting to the result faster than we can. If you can identify this person faster than we can, have at it. But we are giving you the best evidence we can to identify this person.
Curious what you made of that moment. Obviously, this is a response to the growing frustration at how little we have seen as far as camera footage from the scene, Paul.
Yeah, and I got to lay that on Brown. The police and the AG that spoke there, they're the ones who caught this case. And when they went to the video, consider the Charlie Kirk case. When the team looked at the video, they were able to trace the movements of the accused, Tyler Robinson, right down through campus and off campus, and then even into ring camera land in the residential areas. None of that was possible here today because Brown seems to have made some kind of a decision that this building behind me, which is their most forward-leaning, it's the sort of perimeter of the Brown campus here, doesn't have cameras, or if it does, they don't seem to be pointed in the right direction. So what the AG is saying, and I was in the room for some of the press conference, he essentially says, all we have from inside is video of kids from the classroom fleeing in terror. That is to say, nothing that's going to be useful relative to the person that they have identified. As I said this morning, they have identified that person in black as the person they're interested in. That comes from the fact that there was a delivery driver there who saw that people were fleeing away from that guy. And that was then corroborated by interviews that they did relative to who burst into the room. So the person in black that they've put out, they're quite confident that that's him. But because the video evidence is so sparse, they could only track him into this residential neighborhood that I'm beside here. And at that point, they are at the mercy of the ring cameras that these neighbors have.
Yeah, and then the more we learn about room 166 where the shooting happened, we've got a picture of that. We're learning more about the number of students that were actually in there at the time. I believe that's believed to be about 60 students, but there was no attendance taken. And people have gone home for the holidays, Paul. So, that's another tricky part to this investigation. It's a lot. You're on the ground there. I know you're going to continue to bring us all the breaking details as we get it in this investigation, Paul. We're eager for more. Thank you very much.
Okay, latest on that. Did we play this one yet?
Tangle of community programs tied to the Somali enclave, and sitting 3 rows from the witness table was the woman who had championed every one of them, Congresswoman Ilhan Omar. No one said the number out loud yet. They didn't have to. It hovered over the hearing room like a damning slide that hadn't been projected, a figure every staffer had whispered in hallways, but no one had dared to attach to a name on the record. Today's title on the agenda sounded harmless enough. Hearing on the transparency of federal welfare funds, the kind of bland, bureaucratic phrase that usually guaranteed an empty gallery and a chorus of scripted statements. But the room was full. Cameras lined the back wall. A row of reporters hugged their laptops like life vests. On the dais, Democrats straightened their ties and adjusted their microphones. Republicans flicked through binders thick with paper that smelled like toner and trouble. Everyone pretended this was a routine oversight session. Everyone knew it wasn't. The chair cleared his throat into the mic, the sound cracking over the speakers and snapping the room into artificial attention. This hearing will come to order. His tone was practiced neutral. The voice of a man who had opened too many such sessions to believe any of them would change the world. Today, the committee will examine the transparency and accountability of several federal programs, including, he glanced down at his script, the Children's Support Fund, immigrant assistance initiatives, broader federal welfare disbursements, and expenditures related to Somali community programs. There it was. No dollar amount, no accusation, just a string of polite phrases. Children, support, immigrant, community. Words chosen like bubble wrap around dynamite. A low murmur rippled through the gallery, quickly swallowed as the chair continued. These programs exist to help vulnerable populations, and it is the duty of this body to ensure that taxpayer funds are used lawfully, efficiently, and as intended. On paper, that line was pure motherhood and apple pie. In context, it sounded like the first shovel of dirt thrown onto a political grave. At the witness table, under the unforgiving glare of overhead lights, sat the man the left-wing media loved to hate and the right trusted with their darkest suspicions. Dan Bongino, Deputy Director of the FBI, responsible for domestic security operations. No cable show bombast here, no radio punchlines, just a dark suit,
Lisa,
a thicker stack of folders than any other witness,
You're
and the kind
back.
of stillness that suggested a coiled
You have a
spring
good Thanksgiving?
rather than a relaxed bureaucrat. The clerk read his title into the record. Dan inclined his head in acknowledgement, but his eyes stayed forward, trained on the semicircle of lawmakers who would, in the next few hours, decide whether he was a hero, a villain, or just a convenient punching bag. 2 seats to his left, Ilhan Omar shifted in her chair on the dais. She didn't bother to hide the way she was studying him. Her gaze was sharp, appraising the look of someone who had read the witness list weeks ago and had been rehearsing her lines ever since. The fluorescent lights caught the edge of the gold in her earrings as she leaned slightly toward the congresswoman beside her. Jasmine Crockett, lips curling into a quick conspiratorial smile, dipped her head closer. Whatever she whispered was lost beneath the scrape of chairs and the soft thud of folders closing. But the intent was obvious. This wasn't going to be a passive, sleepy hearing. They had come with a plan. Down the row, a Republican member, gray hair, conservative tie, the kind of man who still believed in the power of process, adjusted his microphone and spoke in the slow, measured tone of someone trying to keep the peace. $42 million federal dollars had bled out of Washington into a tangle of community programs tied to the Somali enclave, and sitting 3 rows from the witness table was the woman who had championed every one of them. Congresswoman.
Okay, this one. Oh, sorry to hear that, Lisa. Wow. I didn't know. Sorry about that. You got us. We're all family here.
Chairman. He said, I'd just like to note for the record that our purpose today is straightforward. We're here to hear the report from the FBI and relevant agencies regarding the disbursement and oversight of these funds. Nothing more, nothing less. It was the kind of line designed to reassure voters back home. Calm, procedural, nothing dramatic to see here. Ilhan Omar pounced on it. Nothing more, nothing less, she repeated, her voice sliding into the microphone with a silky sharpness. She didn't wait for recognition from the chair. She simply stepped over the invisible line of decorum like it wasn't there. With all due respect, Congressman, that sounds less like oversight and more like a pre-written alibi. The room stirred. Heads turned. The C-SPAN cameras quietly zoomed. She didn't stop. We have an FBI that has deployed special unit strike teams by their own terminology into immigrant communities. Omar went on, each word measured like she wanted every syllable preserved on video for later. We have Somali families waking up to unmarked cars and men with badges knocking at their doors. And you tell me we're here to just hear a report? Across the table, Dan finally turned his head. He didn't flinch, didn't bristle, didn't leap to his own defense. He gave her a single, steady look. Professional, unreadable. The kind of expression that drove his critics insane because they couldn't tell whether he was offended, amused, or simply filing their words away for later. If Omar was fire, he was granite. She noticed. That only fueled her. Let's not infantilize the American people. She continued, her voice rising a notch. They are not tuning in to this hearing because they want another stack of paper read into the record. They want to know why federal power has been weaponized against a specific community, my community, under the pretext of protecting taxpayer dollars. The Republican who had spoken earlier reached for his microphone again, a frown etching into his forehead. Congresswoman Omar, he said, trying to reclaim the narrative. No one on this side of the aisle is trying to infantilize anyone. We simply want to keep it tidy. Omar cut in, a razor smile flickering at the corner of her mouth. Keep it about line items and footnotes, not about the human beings who suddenly find themselves treated like suspects because they happen to speak Somali at home. Jasmine Crockett, who had been watching the exchange with the satisfaction of a chess player seeing the opening she planned unfold exactly as rehearsed, leaned forward and tapped her mic. If I may add, she said, her tone deceptively mild, it's interesting that whenever this body looks into so-called misuse of funds, the magnifying glass always seems to land on communities of color first. We never start with the corporate consultants or the billionaire contractors, do we? We start with immigrant families and refugee neighborhoods. By Tannel. The Republicans on the dais shifted, some rolling their eyes, others hunching over their notes as if the right statistic might save them from the optics battle unfolding. The chair lifted a hand, trying to steer things back toward the script. Members will have time for questions after the witnesses' statements, he reminded them. For now, we will proceed with opening remarks, and then, isn't it remarkable, Omar spoke again, barely acknowledging the chair's attempt to restore order, that when the FBI raids a Somali community center, it's called protecting taxpayer money, but when billions disappear into defense contracts, nobody here calls for strike teams? All eyes slid, almost involuntarily, toward Dan Bongino. He didn't pick anyone had formally declared war.
Okay, Dan, what's your name? I got a 4-minute interesting one, and then we got that YouTube lady. This time, Walmart. Chris, not the penny show, but this one's someone getting handcuffed. I don't know if anybody's seen this.
Not slowly, but all at once.
About 3 minutes.
Most investors think markets move on news. They don't. Markets move on permission. When rules are unclear, capital waits. When rules are clear, capital moves. Regulatory clarity doesn't create hype, it removes friction.
Oh, you out there?
There's a difference between assets that trade and assets that settle the system. Collateral isn't exciting. It's essential. Stablecoins don't replace liquidity bridges. They need them. One holds value steady, the other moves value instantly. When trust in old systems weakens, capital looks for neutrality. not ideology.
What do you think of this one?
As volume grows, price must adjust. Not because of greed, but because of math. The mathematical formulas and curves demonstrate the inevitable nature of price adjustment when utility demand exceeds available supply in a functional market. This isn't about getting rich fast. It's about understanding what's being built. Infrastructure isn't exciting until you realize everything runs on it. When law aligns with math, markets don't ask permission. They reprice the future.
What do you think, Ed?
This is not speculation. This is discovery.
Oh, and that was it. It was a short one. Okay, our lady from YouTube.
What? That was all within 2 minutes. I have never seen an alleged shoplifting confrontation escalate that quickly. In today's video, some Walmart shoplifters are going to learn some very, very valuable lessons when they don't listen when an officer tells them to sit down. Officers pull up on a couple who are allegedly stealing cosmetics from Walmart, and the second that they open up their mouths, it's nothing but excuses, dog drama, and inevitable chaos. He's claiming he's got a broken collarbone, she's worried about the dog she left in the car, and all the cop's trying to do is not lose his patience. Let's check it out because this one escalates fast.
An officer responded to a retail theft. Dispatch advised that store employees had caught a male and a female shoplifting multiple cosmetics items and keeping them in one of their personal bags, as seen on their CCTV cameras. Upon arriving at the scene, the officer located the suspects and prevented them from leaving the area. Here's how the events unfolded.
Stop. In the shade, both you stop. I'm recording. Sit down right there. You're not free to go. If you take off running, we're going to have an issue. Sit down. Stop. Sit down. Sit down or I'm going to put you down.
Can I get my dog into the truck?
Here's what's going to happen.
I didn't do nothing.
Sit down.
Look, there's my purse.
Sit down, sir, or we're going to have an issue.
Okay, I just...
On your butt,
My
ma'am.
dog is going to jump out the truck. Please.
Where's your
let me
truck?
get my dog. It's right there, please.
Is it the red truck in front?
Yes, he's going to run away. Here's my
Sit
purse.
down and we'll handle the dog.
Here's my purse.
Do you understand you're being detained right now?
Yes, I understand.
Do you know why? They think you stole stuff from Walmart.
I know. Okay, I didn't steal nothing. There's my
That's
purse.
fine. Sit down on your booty.
Please get my dog, please.
Oh, we'll take care of the dog.
Yeah.
Get my dog, please.
31 minutes, you guys. On this
Sit
one.
down. Sit down.
I can't sit down. I'm out of breath. Please let me get my dog, please.
Don't resist, dude, because I will.
I'm not resisting, man.
Well, you guys aren't getting with me.
I
Step
got a
back.
broken collarbone, bud. Please don't twist my arm. Please don't twist my arm. I just have it in front. I got a broken collarbone. I got a broken collarbone. Ah! Stop! Get my dog, please! Get him behind your back now! Please don't let my dog get me having my dog, please!
Sir, you...
Please, hon, please don't let nothing have my dog.
You're going to have an issue with me.
I didn't resist. I just want to get my dog. I didn't do nothing to you.
Sit down now.
Nobody doing that. I just want to get my dog.
Step it up. I have one case. I'm taking the chair. Rescue me straight from the head.
What? That was all within 2 minutes. I have never seen an alleged shoplifting confrontation escalate that quickly.
Are they allowed to do that,
Insanity.
guys?
Why is she okay? I understand she's worried about her dog. She left the dog in the car, which, come on, you're seriously going to...
Are they allowed to do that way what they did?
Go into Walmart and shoplift stuff and you're going to leave your dog in a hot car. First of all. Second of all, why are you so incredibly fixated on your dog when you're on the brink of being arrested or detained? Why are you so stuck on the dog that you're so frantic that it's going to get you taken to the ground and handcuffed? And then this dude, who supposedly has a broken collarbone, he sees the officer take her down to the ground to handcuff her. He bum rushes the officer and gets his ass tased. All in the first 2 minutes. I'm sure it only goes downhill from here.
I'm fine.
I told you to sit down numerous times.
And if I just
Can I not roll over your stomach, please?
I'm sorry.
Put your hands behind your back.
I'm sorry. I just call my son to come get my dog.
We will take care of your dog.
I didn't do anything. Nobody was doing anything, man. She checked my purse. Nobody was trying to resist. Nobody was
Dude, you wouldn't listen.
Nobody was running from you. Nobody was resisting. I'm trying to tell you, man.
I was nothing but nice to you people. Stand up.
I know, but
stand up.
Dude, my legs are up. Sorry, and my legs are numb from you shocking the shit out of me.
Sit right here. Sit.
The couple continued to behave erratically even after being cuffed.
Can you watch him? I gotta go check on this.
You busted my head. I'm bleeding like.
We got rescue coming.
He's a boxer. I wasn't resisting or nothing, man. Like, why the fuck did you take my purse? I didn't take nothing.
Let me get somebody, the one here and then one over to Walmart to verify suspects. In
Nobody
charges,
was
please.
resisting, man. Nobody was resisting. Get my dog. He's gonna come out the window.
What's up, pup?
Nick, I'm assuming they haven't been searched yet. Hey, don't pull those because. All right, Ken, stand up. You got any needles on you?
No, man.
Stand up.
My legs are down, dude. I can't stand up. Like, he just shocked the out of me. I'm laying on the ground and he's still just shocking the
It
out
goes
of me.
5
Like,
seconds. He can't stop it.
my
Everything, go ahead. You got any needles or anything on you?
No, man. I don't have no needles. Nothing around. Dizzy as okay? He just shocked the out of me.
What year were you born, Ken? What year were you born? You can roll to your side.
I don't know, man. I'm not using like what does using have anything to do with this? Like,
Well, you're starting to act all knotted.
I'm busting my head open, man. My head is killing me. Like, what does drugs have anything to do with me busting my head open and I'm dizzy and my
Well,
legs
it
are
probably
fucking
has
shaking
something
from
to do
getting
with
shot.
why we got called to a retail theft, right? It usually all ties in together. That's why I'm asking the questions I'm asking. You got anything in your socks or shoes?
No, man. I had nothing on me.
Stop pulling those out because you're just
They're
making
poking me.
I understand that, but there's a way they have to be removed. What's your name?
Hi, Amy.
Amy what?
Shortly after, one of the officers found a gun in the couple's truck.
Holy crap, look at that weapon. No big deal. Just chilling in the truck with their dog and going what the guy was saying, like if he's on something or if he's tweaking out in some way, what does that have to do with anything? It has a lot to do with a lot of things. And I know that, all my viewers are probably realizing this, but a police officer needs to know what they're getting into. If you're tweaking, if you're on a certain kind of hard drug, if you have needles in your pockets, officers need to know what they're getting into. And wow, look at that. Look at that item that they found in the truck.
Okay
So they're
so
armed and
far?
tweaking probably. Great. Wonderful combination.
Yeah, I thought it was at first. It says DPMS on it. Can you make sure this dog didn't hop out?
You got anything on you shouldn't have?
I don't have nothing.
Do you have any pockets?
My pants.
Okay.
Okay, look at the back of my head. I'm just on her look at the back of my head.
It's
Thank you, babe. Babe, you see on the back of my head is, babe? Hi. What? Can you look at the back of my head?
Oh, yeah, it's bleeding, dude.
It's bleeding.
We're going to go to the hospital and get stitches or staples or whatever they give you.
Yeah, it's bleeding.
How many times, you know what would have solved all that, gentlemen? Sir, ma'am?
Yeah.
What? What would have solved all that?
I just wanted to check my
If you sat down when I told you to sit down, correct?
I was just worried about him.
What'd I tell you? Didn't I tell you we'd have somebody check on your dog?
I'm sorry.
And we cannot follow instructions, can we not?
I'm sorry.
I told you, did I not tell you guys were being detained? Did I not? What'd I say you were being detained for?
Amy, is this black bag yours?
Yeah.
That's what she was carrying. Did I tell you you were not free to go? I told you you were being detained and not free to go. I was even polite enough to put those handcuffs in front of you, was I not, sir? Because of your shoulder injury. Sir, you started walking away, then you came up on me hot because I tried to put her in handcuffs because she started walking away.
All I was doing was talking to you. I wasn't hot. I wasn't aggressive. All I said is...
You said, don't put her in handcuffs.
Please don't throw her on her stomach. She has honey.
She kept pulling away.
I just wanted to check on him.
Did I not tell you before that? Did I not tell you?
He's the only...
I love dogs. I'm going to check on your dog. But you guys wouldn't get with the program. If you guys would have got with the program, we'd have been sitting there. Somebody was coming to check on your dog.
I know. I'm sorry.
Okay.
I've
So
never done that.
can we go back to zero? Can we start over where we were here? Please and thank you. Holy guacamole.
Holy guacamole. The thing that never ceases to amaze me is that individuals that are encountering the police, it's like they don't understand how cautious police officers need to be. You might not have any intention to hurt a police officer, but if you come running up to them, they have to assume that you're going to, especially when you're in the kind of situation where you're being detained and there's handcuffs coming out and everything is just kind of erratic and crazy. Do you think that the officer tased this guy too soon? Let me know. But he had every right to. That guy came running at him.
You probably have a headache, don't you? Let me see where these probes are. Okay. Well,
They were poking me.
I got you.
They were
Watch out. We don't want to get poked again.
Soon, one of the officers took away the female and Mirandized her.
All right, we got somebody at Walmart.
I asked for somebody to go over there. I don't know if they got there yet or not.
All right, you're Amy, right? Amy, what's up?
I've got her ID right here if you want it.
Somebody, just so you know, somebody's with your dog right now. Yep.
I've got his right here. We need somebody to go to Walmart if they haven't already. I don't know if anybody got over there yet or not.
Amy, you in at Valley View right now? When we get you up, we're going to straighten up your handcuffs and stuff and get those on right.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. You help me search her. You ready?
Okay.
Well, step in your shoes.
Okay.
Are you working anywhere?
No, not right now.
My partner is going to search you. You're in custody now for resisting. I'm not saying you're necessarily going to jail, so they didn't have to spray you or tase you or anything like that. I might be able to, because of the dog thing, I might be able to release you because I don't really want to call animal control for your dog. Right?
Well, that's very nice of him. You would think because, of the whole shoplifting thing that they would be hauling her ass off to jail, but maybe they didn't find anything on her. Maybe they're just planning to take him in because he got tased. But man, she's worried about that dog.
I'm going to adjust these since you were pulling away and fighting with me a little bit.
Okay, we take the truck and pound the truck. We're going to piece my dog.
When Mirandize you, though, I'm going to ask you some questions. Honestly, goes a long way with me, okay?
Okay.
You copy that. You don't necessarily have to take you to jail, right?
Yeah.
But I'm not saying I'm not going to. But
please, I've got kids. Right. You're in school.
Who's got keys to the vehicle?
They're right there.
Keys?
Yeah.
all right, so here's the deal. We're going to do this.
Okay.
You probably heard this before. It's your mind order. You have right to remain silent. Anything you say can be used against you in court of law. So you saw me pull up. I told you guys to stop and sit down, right?
Yeah.
Then I told you you're not free to go.
Right.
I told you you were being detained, right?
Right.
I told you you were being detained, right? What'd I say?
That don't move, don't run.
Yeah.
I mean,
I told you specifically, don't take off running, right? You're being detained because of a retail theft over at Walmart. You said I didn't steal anything, right?
Right.
I told you to sit down. How many times do you think I told you to sit down?
Twice.
Okay.
I mean,
and you didn't, right? You told me there's a dog.
I knew I wasn't getting far. I mean, look at me. I just wanted to check.
Right, but I told you, didn't I tell you somebody was coming to check on the dog?
And so much was going on.
You're right. So much was going on. So much was going on, right? I had to deal with two of you guys.
Right.
Right? He's a fit young man, right? You started walking away. He never sat down all the way. You started walking away. I went after you. I had to grab you. Then you wouldn't cuff up, right? You didn't want to cuff up for me.
Well,
so I had to push you to the ground. You didn't get hurt when I pushed you to the ground, right?
No, I mean my stomach. I mean my hernia, but
right.
no, I'm
then
fine.
he was like walking away, like in a rapid manner, right?
I was on the ground.
But then he came at me, right?
Yeah.
I was afraid that he was going to attack me while I'm trying to cuff you.
I get it.
Right.
I get it.
So I tased him, right?
The male began complaining about his cuffs being too tight and that he was in severe pain.
Stop flopping.
Isn't the thing with these cuffs like the more they struggle, the tighter that they get or something? Isn't that why the police officer said don't pull on them? He's learning that he shouldn't be pulling on these cuffs because they're going to get tighter. Duh.
My head is throbbing so bad. Like, no, you gotta loosen that, bud. Like, you see that?
I can't turn it if you keep
I can twist him. God damn. I got bony wrists, man. That's shit. Right on. Yeah, my dude.
So, I mean, I was trying to be nothing but nice. Was I mother effing you guys?
No.
Was I being nothing but cool?
No. I mean, you were. That's what I'm saying.
Come on, Amy.
It's like my kid.
I understand.
It's like my kid.
So what happened over at Walmart where these guys would think you would steal shit?
I don't know. I mean, I have a retail theft in the past.
Right, but I don't care about your past. I care about right now.
No.
You weren't stealing shit.
No.
There's nothing going to be stolen in the truck.
No.
You can't steal some shit.
Oh, I put something in his bag.
You got something in his backpack?
No, in his bag. The Walmart. I thought he had a Walmart bag when they stopped him, but he didn't.
Okay.
Because I told him, you need to get out there with the dog, because I was worried about Ruck. It's hot.
What's the dog's name?
Rucky.
Rucky?
Ruckus. Rucky boy.
Somebody at Walmart talking to the prevention and he's telling me that I'll put it at Walmart. Nobody, it's all digital. Nobody hears. Nobody, it's all digital. Okay.
But, I had one.
I'm going to let you go with Rucky. You know what I mean? You keep being cool.
What are we doing with the dog? Animal control or?
I don't know if the female's going to go to jail.
No, sir.
Is he a friendly dog?
So far, yeah.
Hey, buddy! How's it going, bud?
Who's a good boy?
I'm going to be honest, though. If you guys would have just sat down.
Could they not like charge these people with animal abuse, leaving their dog in a hot car? Is that not a thing? Is that not a thing? Because I mean, if you leave a child in a car, you charged for that, but you don't get charged for leaving a dog in a hot car. I mean, obviously not, because it doesn't sound like she's going to be charged for it, but I think it should be a charge, don't you? Let me know in the comments.
No, I was just scared.
You didn't steal over like $300 in shit.
No, I didn't do it.
But you guys caused all this. If you guys would just sit down, then I'm afraid I'm going to have to get in a fight with it.
Right.
Dude, I'm too old. I'm 46 years old.
Right.
I don't want to bang with nobody.
Right. I know.
Like, holy crap.
No.
How old's Rucky?
3.
Hey, bud.
Come here. Come here. Go for a walk. Come here.
Depending on what they get over there, I may cut her loose.
Okay.
To take care of the dog.
Yeah, but do you want us to go through the vehicle?
If we can get in there. Yeah.
And shit? Because that guy's looking for feelings.
Come here.
Come here. Meanwhile, the medics arrived to check up on the male's injury.
Wow, what happened?
Tell me a brand on the Bluetooth earpiece.
All right, now will you do me a favor, Amy? If we help you down, when you sit right here, you can lean against the thing if you want. Is that truck yours?
Yeah. Yep.
That truck is yours?
Yeah.
Can we search the truck?
Yeah, I don't care. I mean, now he's got his insulin can in there.
Yeah, that's fine.
Some water. I don't have. I didn't know that.
This is hers if you want to hold it.
Yeah. I didn't know that.
The dispatch document Amy gave consent to search the truck. Amy, how'd the truck get here?
We drove it.
After the Walmart thing?
I guess. Yeah.
Then how did you guys get on this side of the building?
I started walking across the parking lot.
Why did you walk and he drove?
And then I saw him coming across the parking lot, and I said, "Where's the son?"
Were you guys just in an argument, or did he just try to get away? Okay. Okay. He took off left. Okay. What up?
Where did he get it?
Front. Yeah.
Came backwards?
Yeah, he came backwards. He locked up and came straight back.
Okay, right here. Gotcha.
Yeah. I mean, I felt I had to because he was coming right at me.
No, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I hate doing somebody in the front, but I had to.
Okay.
I was doing better. Yeah, he was straight back. He locked up and went straight back.
Out or anything?
No, he rolled. He was up pretty quick.
Okay.
I mean, not up, but he didn't get knocked out.
Okay. All right. Pay him.
Yeah, he got up pretty quick. The tasing didn't knock him out. He might have hit his head, but he's fine. He's fine. He's fine. God dang, man.
This is
This
real,
escalated
good, I
so quickly just because they wouldn't sit down.
Yeah, it's fine.
Yes, I will help. Please, can I help with them?
Here's this. I'm gonna go check. She gave me permission to drive her truck.
They're searching it right now.
So he drove it. He walked over to get it.
That's going to Joe's, right?
Go either one.
Yeah, okay. I thought it was always Joe's.
I think they changed it. We can go either.
Okay, we'll find out what he wants and then we'll talk to you guys on the check.
Ken, you want to go into St. Joe or Brome?
You tell me, my man. Which hospital do you normally go to?
Okay. All right, there you go. It's a nice comfy towel right there, all right?
Which hospital do you normally go to? Where do you live?
Is there any like cologne? So you personally took Band-Aids?
No, I didn't. That was it. It's bad. I didn't take nothing.
You didn't take anything?
I did not take nothing.
Okay.
She saw me in the store. I opened my purse right in front of her at the store.
The officers brought the suspect's dog to the female.
All right. You want to walk over to the vehicle?
There was clearly footage at Walmart. We saw at the very beginning. There was clearly footage of them putting stuff in their bags. Where did the stuff go? Please don't tell me that the whole shoplifting thing is just about to go out the window just so she can go home and take care of her dog. Please don't tell me that's the direction we're going here.
On three. 1, 2, 3.
Sorry, my hand got stuck in there. Okay.
When you get over there, we'll probably switch up the cuffs.
Come here. Come on, bud. Come on, bud. Come here. Back. Good boy. Good boy. Come on.
Dude, I saw this in the back and I'm like,
Wow. Dude, get shot.
Here's Mama. Hi, buddy. Come here. I know Mama's right here. Okay, calm down. Calm down. Mama's right here. It's okay, buddy. Okay.
That dog really does seem to love her. Why would she leave that dog in a hot car? That's the one thing I can't seem to wrap my head around regarding this dog is she is so worried about this dog and she loves this dog so much, but yet she's going to leave it in a hot car. I don't care if the windows are rolled down. I don't care. The car's hot. Does the dog have water? Does the dog have water in the car? You're just going to leave your dog in the car while you go and shoplift at Walmart. You love your dog that much. And clearly, the dog loves her, probably just because you don't know any better.
Hey, it's okay. It's okay. Oh, okay. Front or hold on, Mama's right here. Come on. Here, buddy, come here. Hi, buddy, come here.
There's a bottle of Crown Royal.
Hi. Hi. You guys have some water in there? Can I have a drink?
Do you have water in there?
Can I look? I think so.
No, you can't look.
Okay,
I will.
okay,
Okay.
okay.
Do you want to sit down over here?
I was going to stand by him. Is that okay?
Right with you.
Hold on, sorry.
He was kind
Can I have some more, honey? Yeah. Okay.
All right, do you have a valid driver's license?
Yes, I do, and I have insurance too. It's the only thing I have. My truck. We lost my home and everything.
Okay.
She said all that she has is the truck they lost their home to. I mean, that would explain why the dog was left in the car. But my God, so sounds like they're hitting rock bottom. It really, really does. It sounds like they're hitting rock bottom. And as sad as that is, that's still not an excuse to shoplift and have drugs in your car and a gun and Crown Royal. They found Crown Royal in the console. Like, come on, man, do better. If you don't want to do better for yourself, do better for your poor dog.
I'm so sorry. I've never done that. I've never even raised my voice to also. I'm so sorry. Yeah. Please.
Well, because you're having a bad day now, I'm having a bad day.
I know. I'm sorry. And what sucks is I can't. I mean, he's going away. He goes away next month.
For what?
Retail theft.
What?
Even the officer's like, what? So he's going away for retail theft next month. Wow.
Yeah, he took 8 years. That's the most. And he's May 30th. He goes, he's going. You know what I mean? So I think he just got to the point, like, you know what I mean? He gets that mentality point, I guess. Because he kept on saying, fuck it, I don't care. But yeah, you do care.
Go for
you know what I
9.
mean?
The officer tried explaining the situation to the female.
Amy, I'm not going to go find any stolen shit on the way over that way.
No. I'll walk with you.
No, I don't want you to walk with me.
I'll walk with you.
So here's the deal.
Okay.
I'm going to forward charges for resisting.
Okay.
Okay? Because I'm going to be honest. I think if you would have stayed sat down,
I know.
Then Kenny wouldn't have been tased, because Kenny wouldn't have thought he could run away. And then Kenny wouldn't have seen me trying to put you on the ground.
Yeah.
And tased
I know.
her. And then,
I feel bad.
right? And then ran at me. And then me think that I'm going to get overpowered or have to fight 2 people.
I guess in my eyes I was thinking, I'm not going nowhere. I'm not going to outrun you. I guess that's what I was thinking. You know what I mean? I just wanted to make sure he was okay. But,
Yeah, but I told
but
you.
you told me. I know. It was just happening so quick. You know what I mean? I didn't know what Kenny had done.
Right. So how do you think I feel?
You know, I got this lady coming
like,
up to me saying,
if
open
you
your
were-
purse. And I'm like,
I didn't say open your
no,
purse.
a lady in the store.
But
You know what
I
I
didn't
mean?
treat you nothing but decent.
I
Right?
know you did.
I just gave you direct orders and I
know.
explained why.
I know.
Right.
I know. And that's the first I've ever done anything like that.
Okay.
Anything.
I'm going to go and see. You found more stuff?
Well, I don't know if it was over there in the trash can,
Oh, I was going to say. I didn't go by no trash can.
but there's no colognes or anything like that.
Oh. Okay. I'm going to go inside and see how hard it is.
What's that?
That was just a bag of food. That's really sad. Like, no, it's just kind of like, oh, they did wrong, but it was a bag of food. I'm sure that they stole other too, but seeing a bag of food stolen, it is sad. I mean, it is sad, especially if it's true that they lost their house and they're living out of their car. It is very, very sad.
If you need more, please, man, I can't. You know what I mean? It just not just because he let me go. I mean, he was understanding, nice, like explained everything to me, told me to calm down, like. Oh God.
So what? So over here, and I'm sorry. Which is it?
Is your boyfriend, husband, friend,
Well, we're not
associate,
married.
whatever?
We've been together since 7th grade. Say what it
You
is.
might know him then. Huh? I'm sorry, what's his name? Is Latin
Ken.
Williams?
Yeah.
Okay. So what was going on over here then? It was just.
I don't know. I'm in the store. I said, okay, go ahead and go out and check on Lucky Boy because I knew it was kind of getting warm and that's my baby. And he said, okay, I'll meet you on the truck. I was grabbing some Gatorades, blah, blah, blah. And then I had this lady come up to me in Walmart, open your purse. And I'm like, okay. I'm like, where's the items you just took? I have my purse. I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about? What items? Here's my purse. Well, you have your ID. I said, I'm not giving you my ID. Who are you? Well, your husband just took off and we got your plate number. And I'm like, what? So I start walking out, like, what's going on? I see the truck is gone, where it was parked. I'm like, what the fuck? I'm sorry.
That's right. So allegedly they're saying he stole something.
Right. Right. And I'm like, okay. So I'm walking across the parking lot. It's like, you know what I mean? They're like, you stole. I'm like, I didn't steal shit. You know what I mean? And I sorry. I mean, I guess I should have said it. Like, I'm like, you saw my purse. I don't have nothing on me. So I'm walking across the parking lot. And I get by the gas station, and I see him walking on the other side of this bank. And I can tell it's him because the bald head shining. And I said, what are you doing? What happened? And I couldn't understand what he was saying because we were too far apart. And then we met right in this big parking lot. And we didn't even get 2 seconds, and he pulled up. And then I was crying and worried about him. And I said, where's Lucky? He said, the truck's over there. And
The male was charged with resisting arrest, retail theft, and aggravated assault on a peace officer, while the female was charged with resisting arrest and was released with a ban sheet.
Okay, so she did get resisting arrest. She did get something, but apparently they didn't find anything on her for shoplifting. But here's the thing. Clearly, she was assisting him in shoplifting. It was on the cameras that we saw at the very beginning of the video. I'll grab it and put it right here.
Multiple cosmetics items and keeping them in one of their personal bags, as seen on their CCTV cameras.
To me, that looks like she's shoplifting with him. But I guess, do they only care as long as they nab one person for the shoplifting? And he already had a pretty long rap sheet. So I don't know. But damn, that escalated quickly, did it not? It was possible that they just walked away with a warning. Instead, they left with cuffs, a hospital visit, and a big fat bill from Walmart. The officer even took better care of their dog than they did, in my opinion. Anyway, it's just another day, another Walmart shoplifting meltdown. Thank you so much for watching. If you like videos like this.
Wow. So did everybody like that one? I thought that was looked like it was a very important one. I didn't know it was going to turn out like that, but I was telling Kay about it. Do you guys want to listen to the signing of executive orders? I'll go on. I'm going to stay on probably till 8 o'clock. Oh, Q's out, okay. Okay, thanks. So we got a lot of short ones we'll play. But that was an interesting video. Oh, I pushed that link, Lisa. I've never done that before. I pushed your link and it went right there. I learned something new. Okay, we will do some short videos. I'll keep an eye on that. Or you guys tell me when he's on.
a war chest for his third term. Donald Trump in his first term really kind of built his own campaign, ran his own campaign, and funded his own campaign. The difference between his first term and his second term is that the donations came out of the woodwork. I mean, people came out and they gave millions and millions and millions of dollars, large donations. The largest of the donations was from Miriam Adelson, Sheldon Adelson's widow. She gave $250 million. So yesterday, during a menorah Hanukkah celebration there at the White House, being that Miriam Adelson is a devout Jew, or devout, well, she's Jewish, very devout. He brought her in as a speaker, and he said, well, you know, with someone gives you $250 million, you honor them and you let them speak. And she vowed to give another $250 million to fund Donald Trump's third term. Now, I didn't take it seriously, to be honest with you. I mean, I don't know that I would want to run for president for one term, let alone a third term. And I'm not even sure how they will be able to get this done. If you want to see the heads explode on Democrats, that would do it. That would create an absolute enormous issue with the Trump derangement syndrome. But I'm here for it. I would love to see it. I would love to see the heads explode over it. Now, does it make me a little nervous to see this big money coming after Donald Trump? Yes. Does it make me nervous to see who is bringing the big money to Donald Trump? Yes, because I often wonder, if someone's giving you that type of money, what do they want in return? Do I have to trust that he is going to remain steadfast in his goals? Yes, but again, I'm still not positive exactly how this is going to work. The only thing that makes me question it is Miriam Adelson in her speech said that she's already had extensive conversations with several attorneys, including Alan Dershowitz, about how a third term could actually come about. And they have assured her that it's very much possible to get a third term for Trump. Again, I haven't done the research. I haven't done the research on how it will be possible, simply because, honestly, I didn't think there was any way that an 80-year-old was going to run with all the headaches that he's had already running for office and being in office. But apparently, it looks like he's getting a lot of pressure to do so. Let me know what you guys think. Do you guys?
Okay, third term, you guys. Third term. Oh, shoot. Come back. We'll come back to this. A lot of stuff going on. Yeah. Wrong commercial.
freedom is one of the most important steps in which we are working, because fighting against the terrorism is allowing our people to have a better life on freedom. This is an agreement that it will strengthen our relation not only on security, as you well expressed, dear Marco. It's going to allow us to work very close to building capacities, our security forces, and will allow us as well to be closer on our relation, on our strategy on development.
Terroristas en Colombia.
You guys want me to stay here or do another short video?
Secretario, Nicolás Maduro dice que está listo para romperle los dientes a Estados Unidos. ¿Usted qué opina?
All right, so that was the Secretary of State, Marco Rubio, with a Paraguayan foreign defense minister from earlier today. So if you're just joining us now, you missed about 2 hours of coverage that we've been covering this live as we continue to await the president there at the White House. This will be a live feed. As soon as we see it, we'll go there. He'll be signing that National Defense Authorization Act, the NDAA. We'll hear all about it coming up here in just a minute at the White House.
I'll get another short one in. There she go.
You just wait just a little bit longer. You're going to see indictments. You're going to see arrests. John Bolton, voting election machines, and Antifa have all been indicted in one evening. Smash that thumbs up, subscribe, leave me a comment. How does this make you feel? Because I'm rejoicing. Let's get right into it. Breaking. John Bolton has just been indicted by a grand jury on 18 federal felony counts.
Yesterday, we had the FBI director on this show, and he said to us, more accountability is coming. And he said it could come with Antifa. It could come with big public officials. Well, tonight, 3 separate indictments have been unleashed in the last hour. Let me walk you through them. The first is a former national security advisor, John Bolton. 18 felonies accusing President Trump's former national security advisor, the man who turned against the president, of mishandling classified information. Thousands of pages, the government alleges, were sent by John Bolton to 2 relatives who lived in his home, giving secret information from his daily doings at the White House. Some of that information was classified. Other documents taken home or to his office were marked classified. Highly sensitive, top secret, at the compartmentalized level is what the indictment says. This is a very serious national security indictment. In fact, one of the most sweeping I've seen in a long time as a reporter. Now, while that was going on,
really quickly, before he goes on to the next 2 indictments, who remembers when Trump's Mar-a-Lago was raided, and then when Trump was indicted for the very same thing, and John Bolton came out and said, how can you be so irresponsible? Oh, Trump deserves to go to prison and rot. Yeah, John, you're the one who's going to go to prison and rot.
A separate grand jury in Miami indicted Smartmatic, the election computer company, the company that creates election machines. the government, the Trump Justice Department, accused Smartmatic of paying $1 million in bribes to win an election contract in the country of the Philippines. That is a second one. And if that doesn't get you excited enough, or at least your head spinning, remember just a few days ago, Democrats said, there's no Antifa, it's just an idea. Well, a grand jury in Dallas disagrees. Just about 5 minutes ago, a grand jury handed up an indictment saying that a cell of 11 Antifa members in North Texas were behind a very serious attack against an ICE facility there. Gripping details in this indictment about going for rifles and trying to create harm to the ICE employees who were just doing their job, arresting illegal aliens and transporting them. This attack occurred back around in July in, I believe it was Fort Worth, if I remember correctly.
We have massive breaking news.
That was big news, huh, you guys?
Newly declassified documents prove what we knew all along. The FBI raid on Mar-a-Lago was a coordinated hit job ordered by the Biden administration, even though agents admitted they had no probable cause. Emails released by Chuck Grassley show FBI agents pushing back, warning that the info was single source and unverified. But Biden's DOJ forced them to execute the warrant anyway. They raided a former president's home, rummaged through Melania's closet, all to find a smoking gun that didn't exist. Devin Nunes warned us they were hunting for the Russia collusion documents that proved Clinton and the DNC were the real colluders. They panicked because Trump had the evidence of their crimes. This wasn't justice, it was a decade-long conspiracy to stop an outsider from draining the swamp. Jack Smith needs to testify, and the DOJ must be investigated for this unprecedented abuse of power.
That was a short one. I'm watching RSBN right now, so I got a 3-minute one next. Uh-oh.
There is a plot to end the Bush exile in an effort to take control of the party from President Trump, and they have an eye on the 2028 election. The Bush wing eyeing J.D. Vance in 2028 for a primary. I don't know that J.D. Vance will be the nominee. I think that MAGA might have some ideas of their own. But how dare they? I mean, look, the last thing this country needs right now is a return to the lies and deceptions and deep state and military industrial complex. And I could just go on and on. Everything we're correcting right now went on right underneath the nose of George Bush's. And how dare they think that they can elbow their way back into any good graces within at least the conservative side of this party. I don't know. You know, you guys in the Beltway, you hear a different song playing all the time than I do. So I'm going to let you talk about this.
Well, it's good that you mentioned the contrast, because normally our studio is in Indiana. And as you can see by my lovely surroundings, I am in the Beltway this morning. The smell is unbearable. But there is something different in the way they speak around here. There is this faux compassion that laces a lot of these establishment Republicans' language that is not actually kindness. It's just worship of the status quo. Because like investors, they want stability so they can do things that they actually are concerned about instead of passing policy which helps the American people, or in the Reagan-esque way, getting out of the way. And that's something the Bushes were never able to conceive of. By telling you they were very compassionate, they could leave us languishing in wars for decades because it wasn't about winning the war. It wasn't about actually accomplishing an objective. It was about sitting there and pretending that we're meeting the UN's demands for love, hugs, and a kiss on the way out. And that's ridiculous. As far as this concept that what we really need after the Trump administration is a return to the faux conservatism is ridiculous. Now, I mean, you know, I might maybe in my predictive analysis suggest that it's very likely to be Vance and Rubio because they really are a good pairing of kind of more populist and the traditional conservative. Neither one of those are Bushian. Neither one of those is this corporatist republicanism that is so obsessed with the subsidization of whoever's sneaking money into my back pocket that, you know, screw over whatever constituency I have when I'm outside of the Beltway.
Well, it'll sure be interesting. For me, it rubs me the wrong way that we're already, crowning our next nominee when we haven't even had a chance to have the conversation yet. We're still basically 3 years away from it. But
I just think that they have a leadership that we just haven't seen in a long time. When I say analysis, I don't even mean that's necessarily who I would vote for in the primary. But what we see here is something that is so in contrast to Republican. I mean, think about it. Was anyone this excited about a VP of any previous Republican administration? Yeah. I haven't seen that in a long time.
Well, okay, got some more short ones. He's not on yet. Our Minnesota lady.
It's for you. Have you heard about the latest bills that were passed in Congress? I believe it was just last week. It could have been this week. And what they were for was sending foreign aid to both Ukraine and Israel. To Ukraine, they're sending another $800 million, which would bring the total since 2022. It's not that much. Don't worry about it. Just $175 billion has been sent to Ukraine in the past 3 years. And they're sending more. Is this what you voted for? Also, get this, not only that, but they're also sending money to Israel. And they've signed this agreement, I guess, with Israel that says we will be paying them $3.8 billion per year in military aid through 2028. Did you vote for this? Does this sound like America First policies?
I'm not sure if I did or not.
Is there anybody else out there that feels like you got tricked when you voted for Trump? I mean, I sure do. I feel like we aren't getting what we were promised. And I'm very disappointed in how things are working out. And why are we still sending Ukraine money? And why have we agreed to send Israel so much dang money? You know, in Israel, they go to college for free. They don't have to pay for health care. That's covered. Wonder why that is. You think they have an excess of U.S. cash flowing through that country? We voted for America First, but unfortunately, that does not look like that's what we got. What do you think? You happy? I mean, I wouldn't have voted for Kamala. I mean, not regretting that I voted for Trump because, good Lord, it could be much worse if we had Kamala. But this is not what we were led to believe it was going to be. Hey, all you America First people.
Okay, Minnesota lady.
$400 children. That's how many children were rescued from the darkest corners of our country. That's incredible. That is amazing. But it also reminds us of how much more work is still left to do. And there were reports just today that 45 to 50 children were just found in Memphis, Tennessee. My heart just breaks and rejoices all at the same time. And let me say this, I am praying for the ones that are still out there that haven't been found, that God keeps his hand of protection around them until they are. And I'm praying for the 5,400 that have been rescued. And even though they're safe now, they still got a lot of healing ahead. Mentally, emotionally, they've seen the darkness in this world that most of us couldn't even imagine. But I'm believing in their comeback stories. And if any of these kids could ever hear or see this video, I would want them to know you are loved, you are wanted, and you will be cared for. God's always got your back. And look, I know you've seen the darkness in this world, but there is a reason you were found. There is a reason you are still here. And I sincerely pray and I hope that you take that pain, that story, that survival, and I hope you turn it into something oh so powerful, because you are powerful. And know this, we are not stopping. We're going to keep praying. We're going to keep searching. And we're going to keep bringing these kids home, because that's what they deserve. 5,400 children.
Okay, our TikTok lady there. 7 minutes.
Like right now. We're actually being sprayed right now, and it doesn't look like it. So I'm going to talk about 4 different types of geoengineering. This is not all of them, but this is 4 major ones, okay? Number 1 is stratospheric aerosol injections. That's where the big planes actually spray chemicals like aluminum, sulfuric acid, barium, all these other types of things. They literally spray intentionally out of the plane, out of nozzles, to block out the sun. That is called solar radiation modification. Okay, that's one. The second one is cloud seeding. And that's where smaller planes usually fly at a lower altitude, and they go through a cloud and they spray silver iodide to make the cloud produce rain. The third one is electromagnetic radiation, and that's a whole nother topic, but it is geoengineering. So now I'm going to talk to you about number 4, and that's what we're not seeing in the sky right now. Sometimes we do, sometimes we don't. This 4th one is commercial planes that are spraying us every day, all day long, nonstop. And actually, it's not just commercial planes, it's all planes. So let me say again that sometimes you see these guys and sometimes you don't. Now let's discover why that is. So in my hundreds of hours of research, I want to know why we see clear skies for 2 or 3 days, and then we see almost like every single plane is spraying at a certain altitude. So we always have these pesky pilots and meteorologists talk about the right conditions. They make these claims that under the right conditions, a contrail will persist and do what we're seeing in the sky. And of course, they'll say these are just normal. It's normal contrails. Well, there's nothing normal about it. I'm going to get to that point in a minute. But I did find what the right conditions are, okay? And it did matter. Are you still with me? We're going to get a little bit technical now, okay? First of all, what are the right conditions, okay? We're looking at about 30,000 feet. That's about cruising altitude for most of these planes that are spraying. Now, that's just on average. Some of them are higher, some of them are lower. But the altitude does matter. Number 2, the relative humidity must be at around 60% or higher. That's how humid it is up in the stratosphere. It doesn't matter the humidity down here. The other thing that really matters is the temperature at that height. Not the temperature at the ground level, but the temperature at 30,000 feet. If it's minus 45 degrees Celsius or cooler, that's also the right condition. And the last one is dew point. It has to be at a certain temperature in order to make condensation possible. So did you notice I said condensation? Yeah, I did. And it actually matters. So again, going back to those meteorologists and the pilots, they'll say that, well, it's going through ice cold air and this very hot engine. It condensates and turns into vapor that persists all day long. Well, that's actually partially true, but you're missing the most important part, and they're not telling you. So yes, the very cold air goes through these very hot engines, and it condensates into an ice crystal. But in order for it to become an ice crystal, it has to condensate onto something. And here's the rub. They say, well, it's just, soot from the engine. Well, let me tell you something. Soot came out of the engines, and when I was younger, I never saw these types of trails ever. So let me break it down. When we see these chemical trails, we're seeing the actual process of condensation, but it's going on to a particulate. And what's happening now that didn't happen in the past is the fuels are laced with aluminum and these other nanoparticulates of metals. And they're coming right out of the planes, and it's happening every day, all day long. And that's where that's why we're seeing commercial planes spraying. That's why you see a Delta. If you're tracking these guys, you see that it's a Delta plane, or it's a United, or it's Southwest Airlines, or it's DHL. And these fuels are laced with aluminum and other nanoparticulates of metals. Listen, guys, I've done hundreds of hours of research on this. I'm tracking every plane, military planes, commercial plane, you name it. And this is what's happening only when the conditions are right. Okay, will you actually see them? And this is why I said that I can predict when you will see them and when you won't. Test me on this. I'm telling you, if it's a certain day, I can pull up the conditions no matter where you're at. Just give me your coordinates and I'll tell you whether you're seeing them or not. And it'll be 100% accurate.
For example, today, gorgeous day. The same planes are flying over, but no trails are visible. It's only because there's the 9% relative humidity, not the right conditions. Now, if you look down in Florida, they're seeing some trails today because they have the right conditions.
And again, that's why sometimes you see them and sometimes you don't. But the point is, even if you're not seeing them, they're still spraying this aluminum out of the engine. And that's what we have to stop. And so it's really important that we understand that this is also an issue. We don't just go after planes that are actually spraying. Those are far and few between, I promise you. But in the future, there's going to be a whole lot more of that. We have to stop those guys. But we also have to stop the fuels. And this is why in Florida and Tennessee that have bills that command people to stop spraying out of nozzles, you don't see a difference. You're not going to see a change. You're only going to see a change if you address this issue. It has to be addressed or else we're not going to see a change. Our stratosphere is completely covered in these nanoparticles of aluminum and barium, strontium, because this has been going on for so long, for probably close to 30 years. So the bottom line, okay, is that I just want truth. This has changed my perspective a bit. It doesn't change my resolve. We still have to have laws to stop all of this, all of it. And but I want the truth. I want to know exactly what's going on and when. And this is 100% the truth. So we will continue this fight. Now that we understand and know better what exactly is going on, we're going to have a lot better chance of stopping this in the future.
Okay, I thought that was pretty important there. I didn't know how that was going to turn out. We haven't done that one in a while. Okay, we got another good one coming up. Okay. Ah. "20 minutes, guys." Yesterday, Trump's still not on yet.
Hi, and welcome. You're listening to the X22 Report. My name is Dave, and this episode 3798 AM. Today's date is December 17th, 2025. The title of the episode is The Central Bank Tried to Trap Trump. Trump Turned the Tables. The central bank is now trapped and exposed. Now, as we wrap up 2025, it's a good time to slow down and reflect on the year. If there's one thing we've all learned is that uncertainty isn't temporary. It's the world we live in now. Waiting for things to go back to normal isn't a plan, it's a gamble. For over a decade, my friends at Noble Gold Investments have helped Americans protect themselves and the people they love by diversifying their wealth with gold and silver. Look, no one knows what 2026 will bring, but one thing's for sure. In an uncertain world, real wealth isn't digital. It's physical, it's lasting, and it's yours. So when you're sitting around the table this holiday season, surrounded by family, remember the best gift you can give isn't under the tree, it's peace of mind. And that's what Noble Gold delivers, peace of mind, 1 ounce at a time. Before the year ends, take one smart step toward a safer future. Visit x22gold.com and get your free wealth protection kit today. That's x22gold.com. Don't leave your future to chance, or just click the link in the description. And remember, past performance may not be indicative of future results. Investing in precious metals involves risk. Consult your financial advisor before making investment decisions. Let's get right into the economic collapse financial news. Now, the deep state, the corrupt politician, the private West Central Bank, the World Economic Forum, you can see their entire plan to trap Trump in a failing economy has completely backfired. And they thought by downing Biden's economy, and it wasn't just for Biden/Obama, we should say, it was really to bring us into the Great Reset. And they were pushing for the economy to implode, no matter who was going to be in power. Now, of course, if it was going to be the D's in power, they would have told us that, hey, there's nothing we can do. Maybe we should take control by going into the Great Reset. That was their plan. When Trump got elected, their entire plan went down the tubes. And the only thing they had left was to trap him in a failing economic system. And they were trying to push the economy into completely and utterly failing and imploding on itself. And this way it could be blamed on Trump. The problem is Trump trapped them in all of this, and he turned the tables on them. And you have to remember, this is not just about keeping the economy the way it was, status quo. Oh, let's use the same inflation calculations. Let's use the same unemployment calculations. Let's continue to borrow from the private West Central Bank. No, this is about replacing the central bank with the Constitution, the way it was supposed to be. And we could see that the central bank, they're panicking over this because every step of the way, what do you see happening? You see that the Federal Reserve is trapped in all this. No matter which way they go, it's not going to work out well for them because at this point, the people of this country, the people of the world are starting to realize that Trump is right and the Fed has always been wrong. And people are learning that the Fed is the entity that creates the inflation that we have in this country and around the world. And people are starting to realize that the inflation is created by the constant creation of currency. Just like the people are learning that bringing in all the illegals into this country made rents skyrocket, housing skyrocket, and everything else. So people are starting to understand that the deep state system does not work and it does not benefit the people of this country, especially the Green New Scam. When you look at Germany, you look at California, these are the templates for Europe, which is Germany. The template for the United States is California. You can see they've been pushing the Green New Scam quite a bit. And when you look at California, you see taxes are very high, energy costs are very high, and people and companies do not want to stay in California. When you look at Germany, the same thing is happening. And this is why Trump is showing the world firsthand the difference.
Okay, we got to come back. What happened?
Statues of all-time greatest Americans. Construction will start in the very near future. Our country as one nation under our country as one nation under God. We're not changing that. There are a lot of people would like to see it. It'll never happen. And on Flag Day, we will have a one-of-a-kind UFC event here at the White House. It'll be the greatest champion fighters in the world, all fighting that same night. The great Dana White is hosting, and it's going to be something special. But all of this is just a beginning. 2026 will be a celebration of America like no other, honoring our nation and all of its glory. To help carry out these exciting plans, we have created a new public-private partnership. It's called Freedom 250. Working with states, companies, and organizations across the country, we will renew the patriotism, pride, and pioneering spirit of America and lay the groundwork for the next 250 years of independence and freedom. This will be a time like you've never had in your lives. America 250. Thank you. I love you all.
All right. So the president, of course, talking about Freedom 250, looking like we may get Silk on the line as well, of course, of Diamond and Silk. So we'll see if she'll join us as we are awaiting President Trump. Of course, always good to speak with her. If she, it's one of those random.
I don't know how long. I don't know. We might not be able to get to that.
He's building a people system. And as he continually removes everything that the Biden/Obama administration tried to implement, we can see that the economy is improving at lightning speed. And Trump, he put this out on Truth. He's pointing to Thomas's post, and it says, Department of Energy sources tell me the agency is scrapping a $615 million in Biden-era green funding earmarked for Colorado. That includes $257 million grant for the Colorado State Energy Office, which focused on equity and links between climate change, energy, and social justice, which is a freaking waste of time. And you could see right now, everything that the Biden administration put into place, it is being removed. And what people are going to see is that as all of these things are removed, the economy, even in those blue states, they're going to start to get better and better and better. But when you really look at the central bank system, you could see how it actually destroyed the economy in this country. And when you look at housing, when you look at the price of food, when you look at the price of any item, you could see that the central bank system made it difficult for people to make ends meet. And this is why, as the system breaks down, what did they have to do? They had to make people dependent on the government, because without the government, these people wouldn't be able to survive. Remember, the entire central bank system is one gigantic illusion. The calculations are illusion. The system, when they tell you, oh, everyone is doing fine in the system, they're not. You see, all they're doing is creating more and more currency and keeping the mouth shut of all those people that really can't make ends meet. This is why they're on welfare. This is why they're on SNAP. Yes, there's a lot of fraud and there's a lot of other people on this, but this is how they keep people very, very quiet, because here you have to live on this. This is what you have to receive. And they really don't speak up or say anything about it because they're getting money. And this is what they do until the system completely and utterly falls apart. And you could really see it with the housing market and wages. And right now, CBS put this out in Unusual Wales. More than 75% of homes across the U.S. are unaffordable. Why is that? Well, what's very interesting, Planet of Memes put this out and shows a graph. And it shows it going from 1929 all the way up to present day. And it shows how housing continually moved up and salaries did not, which means we have a major problem. And it's not just housing. It's almost anything. If you actually take wages and then you put any item, these items, they have gone up in cost. Actually, what really happened is the value of the currency has declined, and you need more of those pieces of paper to buy the same exact item, because if you really think about it, the cost of producing items has come way, way down. The cost of shipping items have come way, way down, but they needed to do this so they could be competitive with the
I think I'm gonna end it with Cash. Cash has a big video out tonight. Okay, 116,000 views he has. So I think we better go over there and watch that one to finish. This will be a long one, but it's probably gonna wrap everything up for tonight.
Enforcement says they were in a target vehicle stop when they were attacked by a crowd of rioters.
So y'all can see, they got their guns out.
In a statement released late Tuesday, ICE says agents arrested 2 U.S. citizens for assaulting federal officers.
But
we
as
are,
Representative Omar tells us, there's
doctors, we are
nothing to see here.
teachers,
There's
we
no
are
crime.
entrepreneurs, and we are elected
18 minutes,
representatives
guys.
of our state.
18 minutes.
And so these vile comments and this sort of
Vile
creepy
comments?
obsession that not that he has on me
Creepy
and
obsession?
Somali Americans really is dangerous.
Meanwhile,
It's
we've got
beneath the
dangerous
office
levels of
the
fraud
presidency.
happening here
Under
that
the
she
nose
may be
of
connected
Ilhan
to.
Omar, Tim Walz, Attorney General Keith Ellison. We see a web of connections between them and those directly involved in the fraud. For example, Ilhan Omar alleged enabling introducing
It was
the
her
2020
scam.
Meals Act, which was ultimately subject to fraud. Held a campaign victory party at the Safari restaurant.
Which
That's
was
where one
committing
of the men
fraud.
who run that restaurant is has associations to the convicted individuals.
And now she's trying to play the victim.
Was your son intentionally targeted by ICE, you think?
I don't think so.
What do you think transpired?
I think they were just stopping some
Really?
young men who look Somali. And
Where's the video?
He certainly does look Somali.
ICE says this is a lie.
Neighbors
Meanwhile,
here say
if
that while
ICE
they saw
interacts
chaos,
with
they also
anybody
saw
here
community members
who's
stepping
not
up for one
somebody
another.
that is deportable
Minneapolis,
because
ton
they're
of
here
white
illegally,
WCCO
there
units.
is a valid reason for it. Wait till you see
What
this.
did they say? 60 to 70 agitators that are fighting them. We need help.
70
The Hennepin
agitators
County
surrounding
Sheriff's
ICE.
Office says that was the moment they raced to respond to a chaotic scene in South Minneapolis.
Frank, this is the most tense and violent confrontation we've seen since Operation Metro Surge started 2
I
weeks
thought these
ago.
were peaceful
New tonight,
rioters.
witnesses say at least 4 people were detained after community members swarmed ICE agents.
That's terrible, man. They should not be swarming. Look at
A 10th Street standoff
Oh!
in South Minneapolis.
Oh,
Crowds
this is
grew fast,
terrible.
circling ICE agents near the Caramel Mall.
This is awful.
The group is getting larger here, and they're chasing after ICE.
This
This is
operation
terrible.
turned chaotic fast.
That person's out of the car.
Definitely by far the worst. Protesters throwing
Oh.
snowballs and shouting. One agent swinging a baton before ending up on the ground.
This is terrible.
Agents
Look, they
spraying
were under
crowd-control
attack.
chemicals and firing
Those
pepper
people could be
balls.
armed. They
was
don't
just
know.
horrible. It was extremely horrible. They were shooting at us.
So then back
they
up.
shot at us.
Get
they
out of their
sprayed us
faces.
with mace.
The
Get out
standoff
of their
reached a
faces.
breaking point, leading to this call for help.
This is crazy.
We only have a few officers, but we have, what did they say, 60 to 70 agitators that are fighting them.
A 70-man mob descended upon federal agents while they were carrying out the enforcement of U.S. laws, which everybody told us were not being broken here. We were told that ICE and the deportation Marines were going to show up and find nothing.
Is about Ilhan Omar.
Oh, tell us.
It starts bad, but then it gets good. She married her brother, allegedly, so that he could get into the country and be here, like an immigration matter. Trump keeps saying that she married her brother so she could get in. That's not it. She was already in. She was brought in by her dad when she was young, under 18. But she did reportedly, allegedly, marry her own brother so that he could come into the country, and then divorced him. So if the statute of limitations has run on the brother situation, still it should be exposed and documented. There is the possibility that she's still in trouble. Ilhan Omar claims that she obtained her citizenship when her father was naturalized in 2000, just months before her 18th birthday. But there's a problem. No record has been found of his naturalization paperwork. In response to a FOIA request for her father's N-400 paperwork filed by A.J. Kern in June of 2023, the National Records Center was unable to locate any filings under his name.
Where's the paperwork?
Question, can she be denaturalized and deported if this is substantiated? Answer, yes. If fraud was involved in her father's alleged naturalization, then her citizenship could be on the chopping block, because that would be immigration fraud by the dad. That would affect her. And that would be a political earthquake.
So if the dad's
Dave Smith,
illegal, the whole family's illegal. That's what she's saying. But while Representative Omar is telling tall tales about her son being targeted by ICE, she keeps saying anyone investigating her has a creepy obsession with her.
Unhealthy, creepy obsession that he has on me. And the Somali community is just very disturbing.
No, it's not disturbing to be obsessed with stopping crime.
Somalis are very much resilient and strong people. And I saw you tweet about the fact that you didn't know how humorous we were.
The troll game is amazing, mashallah. The Somali troll game is A+.
So I mean, we are coping with mocking them back. I mean, you don't allow the words of a senile, deranged person.
I mean, okay, so Fox News is basically saying she's connected to this billion-dollar fraud. These were her programs. These were her friends that benefited from it, all with the help of her and the governor and the attorney general. And what this really looks like, all this name-calling, is just deflecting. People trying to run from a situation where they should be held accountable. That's what it looks like to me.
And then there's Tim Walz. House Oversight Investigation role in his role as governor, or Keith Ellison, the Attorney General. His job is to enforce the law in Minnesota, but instead he's getting donations after meeting with the Feeding Our Future representatives. Feeding Our Future, the biggest known yet part of this entire theft ring.
That's right. Thank you.
Where are hundreds of tips of fraud involving taxpayer-funded programs going?
Yeah, where are they
fraud
going?
Chair revealed today that they are not being handed over to state investigators.
Why not?
The whistleblowers who reach out to us within the department are terrified.
Because they've been attacked.
Says that's why tips haven't been shared with the Department of Human Services investigators.
Wow.
And to date, we have not, because there is no trust.
Robbins explained what does happen.
When I get credible allegations of fraud from whistleblowers, we meet with them. We interview them.
Robbins added the U.S. Attorney's Office is one of the places she sends tips. DFL members urge the majority to send any fraud tips received to the Minnesota Department of Human Services Inspector General.
But the issue is, people in Minnesota were retaliated against for bringing up fraud. And the whistleblowers are afraid that if they come out and they say, hey, something has happened, there will be no protections, and that the fraud mobs are going to come for them too. The fraud mobs running this government.
We were raised from young age that you don't allow bullies to get to you.
Bullies?
And
if you break the law, there's no bullying going on. There's accountability.
It's ridiculous. It's hard to make sense of.
No, it's not.
We
There's
feel
fraud.
embarrassed for him.
Why would you feel embarrassed?
For America.
Why?
This is supposed to be the leader of our nation.
Right.
And as some will say, the leader of the free world.
So what's he supposed to do? See criminal activity and do nothing? To see $1 billion leave a state that was intended for sick, hungry kids and have it sent out of the country completely? He's supposed to see that and look the other way, just like everybody running this place?
But he is acting like he is, on a schoolyard, calling people names, and you would actually get suspended, even if you behave.
What about stealing billions? What happens if you do that?
And so
what should happen to that?
There's no way to analyze or think or sit with it. You just gotta laugh, tell them to F off.
Wow.
Okay, I'll stop it. I got some short ones I'll play real quick.
Was a country because there was no legal federal income tax between 1776 until 1913 when they amended and changed the U.S. Constitution. They imposed an income tax for 12 years during the Civil War and in 1894 and 1895, but that was found unconstitutional. It was in the Supreme Court case Pollock v. Farmers Loan and Trust Company, and they struck down the federal income tax. And it remained unconstitutional for another 17 years until 1913, when they passed the 16th Amendment and changed the Constitution. And it has been a little over 120 years since they did that, which means there was no legal federal income tax for the majority of American history. People think that all of these taxes, all of this government intrusion into our lives is the norm, but it is not the norm. This is the norm. This is 1776, and the reason America was the manufacturing center of the world in 1912. America had the largest and most prosperous middle class in the history of the world. American steel, American oil, American automotive. But in 1913, they changed the Constitution, which was the same year that they created a national bank. So right at the same time as they gave the government the ability to reach into our pockets and take our money, they also gave a small group of powerful bankers a monopoly over the printing of the dollar. And they print money out of thin air. They lend the money that they printed to the government, and the government agrees to pay them back with interest using the money that they take from us. And that is why the dollar has been so devalued. That is why you can't afford a house. And it's why college is so expensive. Because for 137 years, America was about prosperity. And since then, it's been about whatever this is. And this is why I wrote a book on the banking system. And in my courses, we learn real history. Because if our kids are going to have a fighting chance, they have to know the truth. Check out my private homeschool community. And Cubs to Bears books, classicallearner.com.
Okay, I got a few more.
Was committed by someone other than their actual perpetrators, also known as when a country attacks itself in order to justify military action, legislation, or policy. The origins of this term being used in the U.S. So, the Bay of Pigs invasion of Cuba was in 1961. It was an attempt to overthrow Fidel Castro by the CIA, and it was a major U.S. failure. And this failure directly contributed to Operation Northwoods, a declassified 1962 memo in which Joint Chiefs of Staff proposed a document called Justification of U.S. Military Intervention in Cuba. This detailed plans to blow up U.S. planes, sink U.S. ships, sink Cuban refugee boats, stage terrorist attacks in Miami and Washington, D.C., and then blame all of this on Cuba in order to justify an invasion and overthrow of Fidel. They explicitly said that the goal was to develop an international image of Cuba as a threat to peace in the West. Every single Joint Chief in our U.S. government agreed to this plan, a plan that would have murdered innocent Americans and Cubans. The only people who rejected this were JFK and his Secretary of Defense. They planned to murder innocent Americans so that we would feel so emotional that we would be okay with an unnecessary military intervention in Cuba. They make you afraid, and they manufacture consent. Can you think of other events that may have been done to justify military action? 9/11, the OKC bombing was a 2-for-1 because, yes, it was a psyop, but it also destroyed very important documents and killed important people. In 1995, at the same time, there was a major anti-government attitude in America. All across the nation, people were talking about the federal government having too much power. So the government got ahead of the movement and fabricated a terrorist attack so that Americans would deem anti-government people as traitors. President Clinton delivered a keynote address in which he urged Americans to set aside their political resentments and said that the bombers were trying to destroy democracy. Mind you, the FBI has walked back their statements on the bombs and admitted that they lied and made up science. Every single death from 9/11, Pearl Harbor, COVID-19, OKC, many more are on our government's hands. They make us afraid and then bring in a Trojan horse of government help. More restrictions, less privacy.
I think you all know that I've always felt the 9 most terrifying words in the English language are, I'm from the government and I'm here to help.
Contrary to the last 90 years of programming, the most American thing that you can be is anti-government.
That was a good 2.5 minutes. It hasn't been 2 hours yet. It's almost 2 hours.
Batter the region. After more than a week of relentless rain, rivers remain dangerously high. Levees have failed, and entire communities have been forced to evacuate with little warning. Hundreds of rescues have already been carried out across more than 10 counties, and at times as many as 100,000 people have been under evacuation orders. Critical infrastructure is under severe strain. Major highways remain closed, including State Route 2, which may be impassable for months. Power outages have affected hundreds of thousands of residents, and officials warn that elevated rivers, mudslides, and further flooding could persist well into the coming weeks. Multiple levees have failed near Seattle, forcing new evacuations as floodwaters continue to shift unpredictably. State leaders have made clear this is not a contained event, and that the damage is extensive, but still not fully understood. National coverage remains limited, but Washington remains in an active emergency phase, and conditions continue to deteriorate.
Crazy. This is wild. You feel the whole concrete shaking. Oh my God. Jeez.
Okay, that one there. Okay, we still got 5 minutes, you guys. I think I'm going to end it with this one here. This will be the last one, 10 minutes.
So I'm going to go through and show you why the state of, for instance, in my state, the state of Michigan versus you, okay, is constitutionally invalid on its face, and why every single court case like this violates your rights. It violates the structure of Republican form of government, and it's violating the very purpose of the Constitution itself. So we've all seen this on the traffic tickets or ordinance violations and criminal charges that they like to, a lot of these things they like to call criminal when they're not criminal because there's no.
We've never played this one.
So we got to really stop and pause and ask ourselves, who is the state exactly? What is the state? The state is writing the statute. The state's enforcing their statute with their policy enforcers, because that's all they are. They're not law enforcement, they're policy enforcement, masquerading just like the judges masquerading as actual law, okay, but they're not. The state's prosecuting the case through state or city attorneys. The state's paying the judge, and the state is profiting from the fines and the convictions. So that now means the state is the accuser, the state is the enforcer, the state's the prosecutor, the state is the judge, and they're also the beneficiary. So that's not justice. It's a closed loop system of power with no neutral third party, which we're guaranteed. So this is violating the Constitution at its core, 100%. And this provision that I'm going to dive into really shows you, and this is another huge tool that people can, once you comprehend it, we can use this against them. So it's Article 3, Section 2 of the U.S. Constitution, and this is a fatal jurisdictional defect, one of the many jurisdictional defects. So this reads, in all cases in which a state shall be a party, the Supreme Court shall have original jurisdiction. So let's break this down and really think about this. All cases No, there's no exception for traffic ordinances or minor matters. And then it also states in which a state shall be a party, meaning the state is on one side coming against you, right? And it also goes on to tell us that the Supreme Court shall have original jurisdiction, meaning only the Supreme Court may hear the case in first instance. Okay, that's where when the state's trying to bring something against you, it's supposed to go right. They can't be judging their own case. Okay, and there's reasons for this, and that's as I get into this, you're going to really see it. So if the state is named the party and the case does not originate in the U.S. Supreme Court, there's no lawful jurisdiction. The judge is not neutral, and the proceeding is structurally void because the Constitution literally prohibits the state from judging its own case. Okay, and then we have, and this clause it exists to stop the state from being the prosecutor and the judge at the same time, because we all see what's happening with that, right? No one's getting justice. It can't be fair, right? Because obviously the state's not going to go against itself, right? So using us as debt slaves. So a court of record exercising judicial power must proceed with the common law, be independent of the executive and legislative control, which we know they're not, be neutral with no financial and institutional stake, which we know they're not, secure a trial by jury in an open court, which they don't do, and then exercise original jurisdiction where the Constitution grants it, which they're not doing. So look at all these violations that are wrapped up. Okay, so these state tribunals where the state is both party and judge, not courts of record, not proceeding according to the Constitution, the trust indentures that they willingly agree to be governed by. They're operating under states, the statutes, policy, and their administrative rule, but completely disregarding the common law that they're required to operate by. They're financially incentivized to convict you. And they're bypassing the trial by jury and by reclassifying a lot of these charges as civil infractions, right? Because they're just using you as debt slaves. That's all they're doing. They're using this just to steal money from you, okay? So these are not courts of justice. They're just commercial enforcement mechanisms operating under the color of law, okay? They're operating in their private capacity, which means we can hold them to that, okay? But we got to use the provisions that are given to us. So here's a real good way for really to see it. Okay. So when the state drags you into one of their legislative or administrative tribunals under the guise of a judicial court of record, it's like taking a big pile of shit. Okay. You're going to put it in a box and we're going to wrap it up all nice, pretty with some paper and put some bows on it. All right. We're going to make it look all pretty. Okay. And they're going to give it to you and you're going to be all excited and happy thinking you're getting a present. Right. And then you're going to open it and surprise, it's a big pile of shit. Okay, that's what these courts are, because they're not real courts, and that's exactly what's going on. People are walking in here thinking these are courts. They're not. They're just piles of shit. So it's not justice. It's just legal theater. That's if you really pay attention to what they're doing, they're all just they're just playing. It's the same plays over and over and over because it's all scripted. They're just doing these things to give you the illusion that these things are lawful when they're not. So another one of the clauses out of the Constitution, right, that they're bound by, that we have to destroy what they're doing, is the Republican guarantee, which is Article 4, Section 4, which reads, the United States shall guarantee to every state in this union a Republican form of government. The Republic requires separation of powers, due process of law, trial by jury, and independent courts of record. They're violating all of those. So when the state's writing the law, enforcing the law, prosecutes the law, judges the law, and they profit from the outcome, the whole Republican form of government, the structure has collapsed. Okay, then this is just administrative tyranny used to use you as a debt slave. This is not a republic in how they're supposed to be operating. So a couple examples is, on a traffic stop, the state employee, he's stopping you. They're demanding license, insurance, right, all this stuff under threat of duress, because obviously we all know what happens when you try to assert your rights and how they're trained to do. Okay, then no injured party exists. And then the citation reads, the state or the city versus you, right? They're the same thing. The prosecutor works for the state, the judge is paid by the state, and the fines are collected by the same state. So let's ask yourself, how can there be a fair hearing when every actor is on the same payroll and the state profits either way? There can't, right? Huge conflict of interest. So here's another example. You get a city code violation. You say tall grass or no permit, operating without a license. The city writes the code. The city officer cites you, the city prosecutor files a case, the city judge hears it, and then the city keeps the money. That's not trial. That's a contractual penalty loop disguised as a judicial proceeding to steal your money and use you as a debt slave. But this is why we have the Bill of Rights. This is why this was implemented, right? Because they are a safeguard. They're not conveniences. They are literally safeguards designed to stop the state from doing this. But we got to understand them and comprehend them, or we can't assert them. Okay, so when they're doing this, it's a First Amendment violation for many different reasons. But for instance, when the courts they're violating this when they ignore your filings, or they're punishing you for making jurisdictional challenges. You have a Fourth Amendment violation when they're stopping and seizing you without any individualized suspicion of a crime. And right, they're using this to become tools of revenue, not justice. Okay, you also have a Fifth Amendment violation because you cannot be forced to confess, incriminate yourself, participate in your own prosecution, because being compelled to hand over a license, insurance, or registration, and then being prosecuted using that evidence is a due process defect, especially when the state is the one that is both party and judge. So we also have a Sixth Amendment violation because we see these are administrative hearings. We're not able to confront our accuser, right? There's supposed to be an affidavit with an injured party. The state's not that, right? The state's supposed to be protecting our rights. But we see what's really going on. It's also violating the Seventh Amendment because they're just relabeling a lot of these fines as civil so that they can try and tell you we don't have to give you juries when they have to. Under our Seventh Amendment, we're guaranteed that. So so at the end of the day, when the state, let's wrap it up here. So that when the state's your accuser, the prosecutor, judge, and beneficiary, that you're not in a lawful forum, they're violating the Constitution, and they're violating several different rights in the provisions that they're sworn by. So Article 3, Section 2 literally destroys their jurisdiction. That's just one of the many ways that it destroys their jurisdiction. The Guarantee Clause, Article 4, Section 4, exposes their fraud, and our rights are the firewall. So and once you see this, you really can unsee it. So, and I hope people really start to catch on to these things, and I can really start elaborating more in different videos, but I just want to kind of get this out there and get the seed planted. But now you see it, now you know. So let's share it. Let's start asserting these things, start preserving the record, because we're only going to get justice when we start really exposing this tyranny and using the tools that our founders gave us to hold our public servants accountable.
Okay. I made up for the bad video what we had on Cash. That's why I stayed on a little longer. That Cash video wasn't good. But I might have played, I had him on a while back. I can't remember when, but I don't know if it was the same video. Okay, tomorrow's Friday. And I don't know how many, but I'm going to be on all weekend, and I'm saying Friday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. I'll take Thursday off and come back on Friday. I'll just take the one day off for Christmas. So, thanks, Kay, and I'm glad to see Lisa back in. And God bless everybody. The Bob, ever please hit the like. Make sure you guys go to the description box, sub to the backup channels. We got to make sure we get everybody over to the backup channels. Michelle did all that for me. Okay. So stay safe, stay strong, get the faith. Never give up. Signing off, Chico and Dude. Another night of intel. Till tomorrow evening. Unless something breaks. Yeah, the Epstein files are supposed to come out tomorrow. If there's any big breaking news, I might come on. We'll see what happens with the Epstein files. We'll see you guys tomorrow. Yep, welcome everybody.